If you've watched these type of videos in the past, you've probably heard the same advice over and over again. Drink more water, plan your day, wake up early, etc, etc. This video is different and you've probably never heard any of the tips I'm about to share with you. And guess what? All of these work because they are evidence-based. Here are 6 science-backed habits you've likely never heard of that will genuinely make you more magnetic, and no, none of them involve changing your mindset or getting a new skincare routine. Let's start with the one that surprised me the most because it's such a tiny change, but it has a massive impact on the way that people perceive you. I urge you to learn how to stand upright, openly, as if you were trying to claim whatever room you're in. Because not only does that make people more attracted to you and more willing to see you again, it also tells them whether or not you're capable of achieving greatness. I'm actually not kidding, this comes from a research paper published in 2016. The research team categorized postures into 2 categories, expansive and contractive. Expansive postures are open postures that involve widespread limbs, a stretched torso, and/or enlargement of the occupied space. Contractive postures, on the other hand, involved limbs held close to the torso and minimization of the occupied space by collapsing the body inward. In the first study, men and women were paired during a speed dating experiment. After 4 minutes, each of the participants were asked to rate the experience and whether or not they would like to see the person again. People who held an expansive posture during the speed date were twice as likely to get a yes than people who held a contractive posture. A similar effect was observed in a second study, where researchers created dating profiles. Half of them were featuring photos with expansive postures and the other half with contractive postures. Profiles featuring an expansive photograph were 27% more likely to get a yes than profiles that did not. But this doesn't only apply to romantic relationships and dating, it also applies to other ways people see you. And this is why the third study comes in. In that study, 800 participants were asked to rate a picture involving the same subject. One in which they showed an expansive posture, the other one in which they showed, again, a contractive posture. And not only did the participants rate the expansive photographs higher, they also expressed that they conveyed an open, inviting kind of dominance. And there's a very good explanation why. The researchers theorized the reason why we respond so strongly to people with better posture is because of our attraction to people with resources. We perceive people with better postures as being more resource-rich, and we also subconsciously believe that they will be more willing to share them with us. And this is an effect that was observed both in men and women. A similar effect was noted with chimpanzees. The ones that had more expansive expressions were more likely to mate. And other research indicates that people associate low neuroticism and an overall sense of relaxedness to people with similar traits. So the takeaway here is that you should try to improve your posture, because whether you like it or not, it communicates a lot more about you than you might think. The question remains how, but luckily there is an easy fix. Be mindful of your posture during the day. Bad postural habits often comes from daily activities such as scrolling on your phone, working in front of a computer for hours, or carrying bags that are too heavy. Simply being mindful of your own slouching and reminding yourself to stand upright can do wonders for your posture. But since bad posture is often linked to weakened muscles, improving your core, your chest, and your back area can actually improve said bad posture. This is also why people who participate in sports that require either strong body mindfulness or strengthening of those muscles tend to have very good posture. The second tip will have the biggest visible payoff on your skin's appearance, but it has nothing to do with your skincare routine. New research indicates that you can eat your way to beautiful skin. There is something called the gut-skin axis, and it's essentially the impact of your gut's microbiome on your skin's microbiome and vice versa. This is a fancy way of saying that whatever you eat will impact the way your skin looks, and the way your skin looks will impact what's going down in your intestines. The gut in general has a connection to a lot more things than we used to believe. For example, we now know that there is a link between mental illnesses and a healthy gut. So having a healthy diet can literally help you stay sane in your later years. But we now also know that your gut being healthy can directly contribute to you having healthy skin. A healthy gut will actually strengthen your skin barrier and boost production of structural proteins on your skin. On the other hand, when your gut is imbalanced, your immune system sends inflammatory signals, which often ends up being reflected on your face. If you're wondering what you can do with this information, the answer is actually quite simple. In a world obsessed with proteins and matcha, become a fiber girly. The easiest way to eat your way into better skin is to increase your fiber intake. Not so fun fact, only 7% of Americans are meeting the fiber requirements given by the American Society for Nutrition. Fibers in general are so good for you. You should have a healthy dose of fibers with every single meal. It can be as easy as starting every day with a smoothie, or replacing your white bread with whole wheat, or sometimes reaching for the soy milk instead of the cow milk. Or you can go for prebiotic supplements. There is some recent evidence in their favor, but I don't want to oversell sell them because I truly believe you'll see the biggest improvement from actually eating food. But since getting those fibers is so important, don't let perfection stop you from getting the benefits. If the supplements are the only way for you to get more fibers, go for them. Another way to better the way your skin looks is through red light therapy. Red light therapy has been extensively studied in numerous areas, and there is a clear consensus that it very simply works. I've been using my AMIRO mask for 4 months now, and I'm very happy about it, which is why I am so glad they are the sponsor of today's video. I will always consistently say that the only skincare products that I personally believe are worth the effort based on clinical data are retinoids, sunscreen, and red light therapy. Red light therapy boosts collagen, which leads to better looking skin and wrinkle reduction. I really have to stress that red light therapy is a long-term game, so consistency is very, very important, but this mask is super easy to stay consistent with for numerous reasons. Number one, I don't know if you guys can actually see this very well in my footage, but the mask doesn't actually sit directly on the skin. A lot of the other masks on the market do. You have to strap them directly onto your skin, which I personally feel would be a nightmare and less hygienic. This one is also very easy to wear, and since it's hands-free, after washing my face, I just put it on while I scroll my phone for the 5 minutes I need to work. The mask has 3 different modes meant to target different skin issues. Glow mode combines yellow, red, and infrared light. Together they use to support overall skin radiance and help with uneven skin tone and hyperpigmentation. This is the mode that I personally always use. Firm mode uses red and near infrared light and is designed to target fine lines, wrinkles, and overall skin firmness. Purify mode includes blue light alongside other wavelengths and is designed to target acne. Blue light has been shown to reduce activity in oil glands that contribute to breakouts. Important word of caution here, blue light can trigger hyperpigmentation in people with more melanated skin, so I personally stick to glow and firm mode. I do not use the blue light, but if you want to use Purify, I'd recommend keeping sessions short, introducing it slowly, seeing how your skin reacts, and discontinuing use if it triggers hyperpigmentation. In my routine, I use the mask on clean skin before applying other actives, so there is no interference with the rest of my skincare routine. You can use my code FLOW90 to get $90 off, which gets the mask right under $200. AMIRO is also currently running a Mother's Day promotion, which will get you a free gift along with the mask. If you want to check it out, I will leave the product link in the description. Let's get back to the video. I need to make a confession. This entire video exists because of the third tip. If I can convince one more woman to sway her hips more while walking, I will consider the job of this video to be done. This actually started for me on TikTok. There was a woman who made a video talking about how women no longer switch their hips while they walk. And I thought, wait, that's true. I don't switch my hips when I walk anymore, but it looks so much more feminine. Why did I stop? So I decided to look into it, and not only are there actual studies and surveys on this, but it's actually a big marker of attractiveness on women regardless of body shape. In this paper published in 2023, they used motion capture data from 17 women, 7 of those being professional runway models. They asked the woman to walk on the treadmill under 2 conditions, normally and in an attraction-conscious way, meaning that they asked them to walk as attractively as possible. When asked to walk in a more attractive way, all the women instinctively increased motion in their hips. So this suggests that this is something we unconsciously believe to be more attractive. So then the question remains, is it considered more cringe, or does it actually make you more appealing as a woman? Well, there are 5 studies on this topic dating from 2007, and using computerized animated figures that could be adjusted for both body shape and walking motion, they found that attractiveness ratings for women increased by about 50% when they walked with more hip sway. People can also tell pretty accurately who is a man and who is a woman based on the way we walk, even without seeing body shapes or any markers of gender, because women on average move their hips more when we walk. So perhaps the reason why it's such an attractiveness booster is because it exaggerates something women tend to naturally do or tend to naturally want to do. Because of the way these studies were structured, meaning the use of motion capture and animated representation, neither of the studies have anything to do with the body shape of the participants. So this is something that applies to you as a woman, regardless of the way you look or how much hips you have. The mere act of walking with more hip sway is more attractive. I now try to make this a conscious act whenever I'm walking, and I have to say it also somehow feels more comfortable. This is a fun fact that goes with all of this that I want to give away here. High heels are considered a supernormal stimulus and greatly raise how attractive women are perceived. Anyway, let's move on to number 4. And I have a love-hate relationship with this one. I want to talk about supplements, but the supplement industry is a very shoddy industry. So many of the popular supplements on the market will do nothing for you. And I mean that quite literally. They will do nothing for you because your body cannot absorb them in the synthetic form, or because you are not deficient in them. And sometimes supplements can actually be bad for you because a surplus of certain vitamins can be worse for your health. But vitamin supplementation can be very helpful, and some of the issues you're dealing with could be solved through one of these. The most science-backed supplements are the ones you are deficient in, so the ones that will actually make a sizable difference. You should only take after getting tested. The most common one though is vitamin D. A shockingly high amount of adults are deficient in vitamin D, even though it impacts the way your body ages. There is some debate when it comes to the effectiveness of vitamin D supplementation on adults as far as health benefits go, but 5 years of supplementation was associated with a slower rate of cell aging, meaning it slows down how fast your body ages. And this is confirmed by numerous clinical studies. Elderly individuals with low levels of vitamin D exhibit worse signs of aging. Before you go rogue and try to chuck down a lot of vitamin D pills, be aware that there is such a thing as too much vitamin D, because whatever excess you consume builds up in your bloodstream. So listen to the recommendations of your provider. Oftentimes when people suddenly struggle with a great amount of hair loss, it's the result of lack of iron. This happens because when you're iron deficient, the body restricts the amount of oxygen going towards your scalp, which leads to premature shedding. Mind you, a lack of these nutrients will also have very other nefarious effects on your health in general, not only on the way that you look, which is why you should just go get checked out. The other supplement I want to talk about is the most well-studied supplement on earth. It's absolutely my favorite, and that is creatine. Creatine is something that our body naturally produces and that we get 1 to 2 grams of per day from food. But creatine supplementation has been proven to have a multitude of benefits. For example, it helps counter age-related muscle loss. And I have said this before, but everyone should be doing some level of regular strength training. That is the way you're going to combat aging on your body, because as we age, we lose muscle, and that muscle loss is what results in that lack of toning, that frailty that you see in older people. Creatine also supports bone health and helps with your memory and concentration under sleep deprivation. Something very interesting that creatine also does is reducing your body fat percentage while increasing your fat-free body mass, and this basically means it can help you sculpt your body faster when paired with exercise. I personally take creatine every day. It's a cheap supplement that is hard to take too much of with almost zero negative side effects, but I also do tip number 5, which is lifting weights. Do not skip this portion. I know you don't want to hear it, but I promise you, money can buy you a lot of things, but it cannot buy the benefits exercise can give you. As someone who has been very fit and is currently not so fit and is trying to bring it back up, appearing and being physically fit changes your life in so many ways. It is a completely different world in terms of how your body feels, how confident you are, how clothes fit, how healthy you feel while moving. It is an absolute game changer, and you only know this when you have been on the other side of the fence. The best exercise will always be the exercise that you can stick with, the exercise that you're willing to do, regardless of what that is. But if you don't know where your time should go and you want to optimize for best return on investment, pick strength training. There are a few specific reasons why I say this. It is different from other popular forms of fitness for multiple reasons. Number 1, strength training is the best when it comes to body recomposition. Body recomposition is simply the act of shedding fat and gaining muscle over time, so you progressively get leaner and more toned. If you're insecure about your body and you're looking for a guaranteed fast way to significantly change the way it looks, this is what you want. Cardio, Pilates, yoga, nothing does body recomposition the way that strength training does. I will of course share studies, but I am a testament of strength training's abilities to give you the body of your dreams starting from nothing. So I also know exactly what it takes to get there, and it does not need to be as intense as fitness influencers make it look. I believe a big deterrent to strength training for a lot of women is the idea the only way to do it is if you directly start working out 5 days a week for an hour and a half each week, and it's absolutely not necessary necessary, you can get amazing results working out as little as 2 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour, and you'll see the results really quickly. In a matter of 2.5 months, you will look visibly different. The second reason is that strength training is the only form of exercise that directly fights the number one thing that makes people look and feel older: muscle loss. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, and that loss is what causes that lack of tone that you see in older people. Cardio does not fix that. Pilates doesn't do that either. Strength training is the only thing that actually reverses it. And the third thing about strength training is that we talked about posture earlier in this video. Strength training is actually one of the most effective long-term fixes for bad posture, because bad posture is largely a muscle problem. Your core, your back, your chest, when those get stronger, your posture corrects itself almost automatically. Again, you do not need to go 5 days a week. You only need 2 days and an hour on each of those days, and that is enough to change your life. The barrier of entry is so much lower than fitness influencers make it look like, and the return is higher than almost anything else on this list. So those are the 6 science-backed things that will make you look more attractive. Walk with your hips, fix your posture, eat your fiber, be smart about supplements, pick up some weights, and use red light therapy. If you like this video, you might be interested in my other videos, which talks about science-backed habits that every woman should follow in 2026. It'll appear here. Thank you so much for watching. I see you next time.